London Colney, ancestral home of Arsenal training, where the pre-season endeavours are already underway. Has the summer break really passed by that fast? Paul Merson is among the gang of front men being put through their paces by first-team coach Stuart Houston.
Come on, lads, it's got to be sharp. Yeah, spin. Go on, Merce, decision. Oh, what a goal. Superb finish. See that? Looking early there. Made his mind up, seen the hole on the far side and whacked it in there.
Good run, Dave.
But I want to make it sharp. Come on, it's sharp. There. Spin! You win something major, like the First Division Championship, and there's two ways it can affect people. Sometimes you think, well, oh, we've done it now, and we can tend to sort of sit back. But I don't. I remember when the boss coming back from Liverpool the first time he won it a few years ago, and I said to him afterwards about how do you feel to win the league, and he says, I'm already thinking about next season. The first thing you see, Merce.
To be successful, I think once you get a bit of success, you want more success, and it's not really being greedy, it's just being professional.
He's saying to you, come on, David, beat me. Innit? He's going, go on, beat me. A good keeper will stand up and say, come on, 1v1. Yeah. Right, now, have a little bit of craft, a little bit of thinking power, eliminate the goalkeeper. You like it?
Good on camera.
Good on camera.
Next lesson for Paul Merson, eliminate the crossbar. Meanwhile, George Graham is with the defenders.
The manager is always out on the training ground. He doesn't miss many sessions at all here. So I've usually got the position of doing generally just starting the players off in the morning and just the general little loosener, 20 minutes or so, whatever it may be, just warming up before we actually go into the main bulk of the session, which the manager and myself combined at times can take. We can split after so long, like this morning the manager took the defenders and I took the forwards and the midfield players, and we just split the camp up a little bit depending on what we're going to work on. And then we can come together at the end of the session depending on what we feel has got to be done on that particular day. Looking at this morning's the little session, I think it can, when you're working with just 4 or 5, half a dozen players, I think you can get into the session more with the players. Sometimes it's generally we've got a big squad of players, and generally we can be working with the squad more. I think when you have a small group of players, I think you can work a little bit more on the technical side of things.
Oh no, he tried it as well.
Unlucky, but you've got to be on 20 grand a week and play for Sampdoria to do that.
At Arsenal, everything is covered, even goalkeeper training for Paul Merson.
Well, it's not as funny as it may look. I mean, he quite enjoys going into the goal, and at some stage, maybe on a Saturday, you know, God forbid if David Seaman had to get injured, then somebody has got to go in there and do his best. Paul Merson enjoys going in, so we've got to encourage him at some stage in the week to go between the posts, just to appreciate the problems that the goalkeeper has, so that if he has to be called upon on Saturday, he's got some idea at least, you know, what's to be expected of him.
The annual fitness tests are always eagerly awaited by the Arsenal squad. A chance to relax, take stock and ease quietly into the new season. But of course, it's not all lounging about. There's the hard slug of pre-season sponsor entertaining, a chance to practice all those evening wear traditions. Chance for some of the coaching staff to reminisce over bygone managers.
But they just swing his legs to it.
Very
funny, yeah.
Flintstones.
You always just know when he had a needleberry, because he had a vein in the side of his neck.
The blue vein kept popping up.
You think, here we go.
And a chance for some of the players' wives to catch up on those missed TV programmes. The main course is almost upon us. The Gunners' return to 91-92 action began in Sweden. 3 games in 5 days, 3 wins and 11 goals. Next up on the friendly tour, Division 4 Aldershot, a 1-1 draw and a goal for Siggy Jonsson. Then to 2nd Division Plymouth.
Now Fury has made space for a shot, and what a shot it was too. Very well stopped by Seaman. Campbell. A minute to go to half-time, and still Campbell drives on and scores for Arsenal. Dixon, and Wilmot did very well against his old club. Now Campbell, Smith in the centre, a chance for Smith, a second chance for Smith, and it's meant a second goal for Arsenal. At the end of a good workout here in the West Country.
Then to Vicarage Road for Watford's centenary game.
Certainly an opportunity for Watford to gauge their preparations against the First Division champions. Rod Thomas, who was an outstanding schoolboy player, and Kennedy is away, and Arsenal's usually strong defence looking vulnerable here. Can he pick out the right pass? He can. It's Putney who scores. Nice touch first from Merson. And it's a move that's put together with a real flow to it, getting Lee Dixon in the clear. Parlour. And now Campbell, it's over the line, and Arsenal are level. Ray Parlour on as a substitute, looking very perky for Arsenal. Here's Thomas. Parlour wants it back again, a chance for him. Oh, it's an own goal. Ashby. Arsenal are in front. Campbell, and maybe a chance now as Campbell moves forward. He's offside. No, he's not. David James has come a long way. It breaks for Dixon. The goal is open, and Lee Dixon has found it spectacularly. Watford 1, Arsenal 3.
Ask around Highbury and you won't find too many people who've managed to shatter the renowned cool of Paul Davis.
There he is! Look at him! The wreck!
Jeremy Beadle came close with this famous box of tricks stunt a few years back.
Is that your car?
But now Paul Davis is facing another daunting evening, though happily furnished with a new car. It's his testimonial against Scottish giants Celtic.
Thank you.
Hi. You may love.
A side now managed by his hero, mentor and former teammate Liam Brady.
I remember watching games from up in the North Bank, and as a youngster, Liam was just getting into the side then. And, you know, he was a fabulous player at the club. And then I joined the club and actually trained with him, which was unbelievable for me at the time. Then obviously he left. But I think it's quite ironic that now he's brought back, he's managing the team that's come and is going to play in my testimonial, and I think that's a nice touch.
Hopefully we'll be able to get into the...
Good luck tonight, sir, from the Glasgow Celtic fans. Good night, I hope you have a good night. By the way, you're getting gubbed. You have no... You bet you don't even get changed. Okay. No chance. Good luck.
Thanks. It's my mum, sister, niece, nephew.
Joker.
All right. Okay, I'm going to get myself sorted out, so I'll see you.
Despite the rain, more than 10,000 Celtic fans made the trip south. A quiet night in Glasgow, but a noisy 28,000 crowd at Highbury.
We haven't lost this pre-season, so we just want to keep that going, and obviously, you know, go into the season not losing any games.
Well, thanks very much, Paul, and have a terrific night.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Paul. You're not playing?
Yeah, I am. I'm just going to get ready.
Just hush, lads.
Yeah, John. Okay. Oh, you met there. Just say thanks for coming down, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. See you later. I became actually very good and close to Paul, and realised he was a very talented player. But I think it took maybe, when George Graham came at first, I think really George blossomed him into the talent that he always wanted to be, and he always should have been. And ever since then, he's never looked back.
Paul signed for Arsenal as a schoolboy at 15 years old, though he later discovered the club had only decided by one vote to keep him on.
Well, there wasn't many black kids here at the time, and he stood out for that reason in the first place, and then his sheer ability, great left foot, great brain for the game, good vision. You can almost tell the lads are going to make it when you see them 15 and 16, and Paul was a surefire thing. He very rarely gets caught in possession with the ball, simply because he knows what he's going to do with the ball before it comes to him. And he's a very good one- and two-touch player. He doesn't take many touches, Paul. And he scores fair share of goals, and spectacular goals, and headed in goals. And he gets in, and he's not frightened to put his foot in as well. He's a perfect midfield player.
Paul couldn't have asked for a tougher debut. Easter Monday, 1980, at Spurs. 12 years on, and the games don't get any easier, even this one.
Well, they're two big, prestigious football clubs. They don't like losing. We don't like losing, neither do them. So it's not going to be a testimonial game. It's going to be a very competitive pre-season match, believe me.
I've played my best football under George Graham, without a doubt. I think you know exactly what is expected. And I think a lot of players need that. They need to know what is expected of them so they can deliver.
Davis! That's a remarkable goal.
Shut the door, please. We're 2 and 5 minutes.
A few minutes to kick off, and time for Paul to enjoy the Highbury crowd. The respect earned from more than 350 first-team appearances for the Gunners. Though nephew Anthony and David Rocastle's daughter Melissa aren't quite sure what to make of it all.
Rogan for Celtic. It really is a great atmosphere here in the cause of Paul Davis. Charlie Nicholas responsible for some of that by his appearance and indeed the quality in his play. It was a fine try from the former Arsenal favourite. Collins straying to the right. He's got Coyne for company. And Nicholas too gets away from Hillier. The angle is tight, but Nicholas has made light of that. And even the North Bank joins in the applause. Morris. Dovchik. Oh, it's a little bit lax. Celtic like to play football under Liam Brady, but not that close to their own goal. They've conceded a goal because of it to Alan Smith. 1-1. Smith tussling with Galloway. Brought down by Galloway. A penalty. awarded by Tony Ward. Well, Galloway let Smith get in behind him, and there was always a problem from then on. Here goes Lee Dixon. Bonner stopped it. Dixon follows up. Oh, and I think the goalkeeper pushed it against Dixon, and in it went. Collins. And a foul, I think, conceded by Hillier. Well, these hordes of Celtic fans who've made the journey south behind the goal that David Seaman is guarding. It's Dovcik who takes it and hammers in the equaliser. That's a fantastic free kick for Celtic. Off goes the hero of the night. And how pleased he must be with the way the evening has gone. Paul Davis replaced by Mickey Thomas.
Did you enjoy the match?
I have to sit down and think about it. There's so much going on. It's hard to concentrate on the game. There's a lot sort of going on in my mind. And like I said, a lot of the time I was looking at the crowd and the atmosphere.
You were a spectator yourself?
Well, yeah, probably for that.
It looked like the tackles were pretty hard out there. This is not really a friendly, was it?
No, it was really quite competitive. But we expected it that way, and you know, I don't think anybody will go home disappointed. You know, it's a good, full-blooded game, and I think that's the way it should be. Really. I think people will be happy.
If the score stays the same, that'll be fair.
Yeah, I'd like it to stay the same.
Smith! Oh, incredible save by the Republic of Ireland international goalkeeper Packy Bonner.
Well done, Dino. Some of the marking in the midfield. You'll have to leave it to big desire. No, you won't. No.
Paul has just signed a 2-year contract with Arsenal and now hopes to see out his playing days at the club. Something to leave his testimonial crowd singing all the way home.
Ray Kennedy's goals have changed over the years. During the 70s, he pursued trophies with more success than almost any other player in the game. Over a decade, first with Arsenal, then with Liverpool, he won 6 league championships, the FA Cup and the League Cup in domestic competition. Abroad, he picked up winners' medals in the Fairs Cup, its successor, the UEFA, and played in 3 European Cup-winning teams.
The moving story of Ray Kennedy, available from all good video outlets.
And Groves sneaks in field and gets his cross away. Winterburn, Limpar, well found. Chance for Arsenal, Rocastle! It will be an important season, this, for David Rocastle. After a couple of wasted years, really, where form and fitness have deserted him. And this is a good moment for him. Limpar got it past Vanjig, and it needed Rocastle to round it off. Arsenal into the lead. And a well-worked goal, too. The elusive Limpar. And Rocastle getting his reward for following it up.
That goal enough to beat the Greek champions. In the final, a real tester. Sampdoria, like Arsenal, are strongly fancied in this year's European Cup. So a big stage for yet another youngster to break through. Striker Andrew Cole.
Dixon to take the throw. With the greatest respect to Wembley. Highbury, an excellent setting for the Makita tournament this year. Dixon takes the free kick, and round the back comes Paul Merson. And the Sampdoria defence caught out in a manner that will disappoint them. It looked to me as though Manini, one of the most diligent markers in the Sampdoria side, was responsible for Merson there. But as Dixon found the right area at the far post, Manini let Merson run free, and that was the result. Oh, scrambled away by Orlando on the post. Adams making his presence felt. And he's in there again. And just stuck out a foot and couldn't control the ball that obviously came quickly to him. David O'Leary. And now there's a problem here for Renato Busso. 4 goals against West Ham yesterday, but a red card here today from Keith Hackett for buffeting into Tony Adams with, one can only assume, and the referee must have had a very good view of it, an elbow used as the two of them went to compete for the ball here. A flailing elbow by Busso, and off he goes. Well, this is the Rocastle of bygone times. Almost like Arsenal getting a new player when there's been so much said about not signing any big names for the new season and the defence of the title. Cole, the bounce beat Bjerkebot and Manini. Cole can't deal the final blow past Pagliuca. Parry. That's Bjerkebot's back heel. Parry with a deep cross towards Vialli. Oh! Well, it may be pre-season, but that shouldn't devalue a goal of the utmost class. Gianluca Vialli, 19 league goals in 26 games for Sampdoria, in winning the championship for the first time, and he's on song straight away at Arsenal's expense. This was a classic. And, well, David Seaman wouldn't have expected to be beaten as the ball dropped. Thomas, who still has a point or two to prove, it seems, to George Graham to regain his place in the side. Dixon. Now Limpar. Lining it up, and Pagliuca coped with it with difficulty.
Normal time couldn't separate them, so it's down to penalties.
Lee Dixon, Arsenal's regular penalty taker, to start the penalty shootout successfully. 1-0 to Arsenal. Gianluca Vialli with a mixture of cheek and class levels it for Sampdoria. Perry Groves has put it wide. So the initiative for the moment swings Sampdoria's way. Attilio Lombardo, Italian international, and stopped by England's David Seaman. David Hillier against Pagliuca, and Arsenal are in front again, 2-1, each side having missed one penalty. Silas, Sampdoria's latest acquisition, the Brazilian, thumps it low past Seaman. 2-2. Next to go for Arsenal is Davis. Oh, Pagliuca saved it. Not wide enough for the goalkeeper to his right. Invenizzi scores. Here's Thomas, one pace, and he can't do it. Pagliuca for Sampdoria. The trophy that Sampdoria won last season, they've got it again, and again at Arsenal's expense in the final. Sampdoria get the Makita Trophy for 1991. Smith waiting on the far side. Now having to come if the ball goes to feet. It's in for Campbell from Davis, and it was the best opening of the match so far. Merson again. Smith's offside. It's a lovely header, typical of Alan Smith's work. He will wonder whether he made his move. Yes, it must have been close. The ball came quite a long way. Sam Ways has made a great run, and Adams didn't time that tackle at all well. Lineker at the near post, and it's a wonderful save by Seaman from Naeem.
So the Charity Shield ends as it started, both captains holding a trophy. Arsenal have been waiting patiently to see David Rocastle back at his best. At the end of last season, Rocky was taking nothing for granted.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about next season, because after last season I said I'm looking forward to this season, and it's gone how it has, so I'm just going to say I'll report back on July the 8th.
In the Makita tournament, everything seemed to be falling into place. Then the unthinkable happened.
And, you know, things were going well. I was just starting to enjoy the game. The team was playing extremely well. And then all of a sudden, I just remember Gary Lewin pulling me off the pitch. What I did, my fingers went fully into the ground and broke the second finger.
I don't actually remember a great deal how he did it. All I remember was he went in for a tackle with one of their players. I think it was Vialli, but I can't remember exactly. And the play continued, and he was left on the floor. And he shouted out, and obviously there was a problem, so I went to the side of the pitch. And the game was still in play, so it was difficult for me to go on. But he managed to get his arm out, and he showed me his hand. I could see from where I was, he'd dislocated at least 2 fingers. So I just popped on, grabbed him by the legs and dragged him off.
Gary said that the whole finger just completely twisted round, and at first I was panicking a bit because I thought I'd broken my arm, which is more severe than a broken finger. And then when I got back to the dressing room, we had the x-rays done pretty sharply, and they said, no, you just broken your finger, so I was quite relieved.
We brought him into the medical room, and fortunately at Arsenal we have got an x-ray unit here on match days, and we took the x-ray straight away and diagnosed a fracture, as you can see by the x-rays. The finger is actually fractured. It's the 4th finger. It's what they call a spiral fracture. So in other words, it's not straight across. It actually goes around in a spiral, which for fractures makes it difficult because it doesn't fix properly, and so the finger can move. And if we weren't careful with it, it would have deformity for life. So we bandaged him up on the Sunday. Coincidentally, he had 2 dislocations as well. The 2 joints at the end of each finger were dislocated, which I reduced on the pitch, and it worked out very, very well. The fracture needed some intervention, so we saw the orthopaedic surgeon on the Monday. And as I can show you by the results, he went in Monday afternoon and had 3 screws fitted. Hopefully you can see them okay. Straight across the spiral fracture. Different view there. And they fixed it very, very well. He came out on the Tuesday morning. He came in with me on the Tuesday afternoon, did some light training to get the anaesthetic out of his system. And he played on the Wednesday night against Watford.
The injury was just the latest in a series of setbacks for Rocky. But at Highbury, fingers are being kept crossed that the best of David Rocastle is yet to come.
Every time he makes a comeback, he seems to pick up injuries, and not the run-of-the-mill injuries that we can treat. They're normally to be fractures. I mean, last year he broke his toe at Derby here at Christmas, and he was out for a while with that. And then he made another comeback and played at Derby, and then had another knee injury where there was a bit of bone floating inside his knee that we had to remove. So he's been very, very unlucky, but touch wood, this season hopefully will be the right one for him.
Like I said, no one's guaranteed a first team spot, but as long as I just have all the injuries behind me and I work hard in training and the matches I do get, I show the manager I can do something, then obviously if I get a chance, hoping to take it.
Good news on Anders Limpar, a full recovery from an Achilles operation, and he won't be swapping football for cricket. Kevin Campbell has a problem, a recurring ankle injury.
Well, I had it strapped up and I went through for a ball and I got there just ahead of Gary Mabbott and he fell in front of me and I trod on him. And as I trod on him, I twisted it again. So obviously, if it ain't right, you know, I'm just going to come off really. So the priority is to start the season, so hopefully I can be fit for that.
Steve Bold won't be fit for the start of the season. An ankle injury will keep the big defender out until September. White Hart Lane is a venue that always guarantees a full house when Arsenal pay a visit. And it should be no different when one of the Gunners' biggest fans takes centre stage there later this month. Michael Watson has been training hard since that controversial defeat at the hands of Chris Eubank. But the battle lines have already been drawn for the rematch.
Everybody knows I won the fight. I didn't perform the way I should have. You know, certain things happened to me, you know, no excuses. Certain things happened to me on the day of the fight that really affected my performance. But this time, it's for real. You will see the real Michael Watson on September the 21st when we get this, you know, this menace out of the system.
Although Arsenal has always been on his doorstep, Michael grew up fighting rather than kicking a football. So it was an unusual event 4 years ago that brought him to Highbury.
My trainer works here as a steward. I pulled my hamstring, you know, in my training session, and I was advised to go to Gary Lewin, the physio, to get my leg sorted out, and he done a very good job.
It didn't take long to convert him into an Arsenal fanatic.
First time actually watching the game, I used to watch the games on TV, and it was totally different being at the actual ground and drawing in all the atmosphere. It's just, you know, it was just electrifying. It's unbelievable. All of them are my favourite players. You know, they say unity is strength, and they will combine their strengths together. You know, they are one when they play.
Michael's favourite Arsenal moment, despite last season's championship triumph, remains that famous title clincher at Anfield in May '89.
Winterburn and Richardson behind it. Adams has made a darting little run in there, and Smith!
And I predicted a right score when Arsenal beat Liverpool at Anfield. That was a great moment for me.
A good ball by Dixon, finding Smith. For Thomas, charging through the midfield. Thomas, it's up for grabs now! Thomas! Right at the end!
It was incredible. You know, I had to get out early because obviously, you know, the rush afterwards. I think we left, I think it was 10 minutes earlier. Then they scored the second goal. And I heard everyone shout, and I thought, Christ, I hope it's not Liverpool. You know, but it was a great buzz when I found out that we did score another goal and set things straight.
Now it's Michael Watson's turn to set things straight.
My prediction for the fight is the fight is not going the distance, believe me. I did say that before in the first encounter. As I said, I was very disappointed with the way I performed. I've got good people behind me now, and I'm feeling great. I'm ready to go.
Season 1990-91. Played 38, won 24, drawn 13, lost 1, points deducted 2, league titles 1. Champions, the official video record of Arsenal's title-winning season, is still available at all good stockists. Last year saw the young Gunners win both the South East Counties League and the Floodlight Cup. But at youth level, even winning teams don't stay together long. The current campaign began with 8 new trainees in the side. One of them, Sona Zumratel, opened the scoring in a 2-2 draw at West Ham. The other scorer, Paul Reed. Even better news 7 days later, a 3-1 win at Portsmouth. Goals from 2 Pauls, Reed and Shaw. The reserves on their opening day also enjoyed an impressive win at Pompey. 3 days later, the champions' second 11 are on the road again, this time a little closer to home at Fulham. The dressing room scene is much the same as on any match day. But the big game atmosphere is conspicuous by its absence, which doesn't mean anyone will be taking things easy. Remember, whatever the level, everyone wants to beat Arsenal.
These might be a team of kids, but I tell you something, they'll have their moments in a game, so it's important we're not sleeping, eh? You're nothing.
With the game underway, the attendance is boosted by a couple of familiar faces. Crystal Palace's Ian Wright and David Rocastle. It's a case of divided loyalties for Rocky, though. At left-back for Fulham, brother Steve. Rocky Mark II and his defensive colleagues soon under pressure. Though how this stayed out, the Arsenal attack only knows. Andrew Cole keeps the pressure on. Fulham keep the ball out. Despite the on-field action, some spectators are more interested in soaking up the rays. The Arsenal defence relaxed for a moment as well. So does our cameraman, and it's 1-0 to Fulham. That's the situation at half-time. The Fulham fans enjoy that Craven Cottage moment. And Arsenal, they keep on missing chances. And there's worse to come. Michael Thomas caught in possession, and a very cool finish, 2-0. It's just not the Gunners' afternoon. Paul Dickoff does well, but he's denied by the woodwork. And even this late effort from the impressive Neil Heaney doesn't get its just reward. Full time, handshakes all round, but strong words waiting for the losers.
This is a great game for Fulham. I mean, whoever we play, as you know, is going to be motivated. But, I mean, that doesn't excuse the fact that we didn't do the things correctly. I mean, we give a silly goal away from the second goal. We've missed God knows how many chances in front of goal. And if you don't put the ball in the net when you have chances, you're never going to win. But the kids have just got to keep battling to get in the first team, and, you know, we'll encourage them as much as we can. Well, as I said, these games sometimes teach you a lesson, and we have to learn from them.
Geordie's boys heed his advice and bounce back from that poor result with a resounding 3-0 win over Millwall. A promising start for all those waiting in the Highbury wings.
The presence of O'Leary and Adams unsettling Queen's Park Rangers. O'Leary waiting by the near post as Limpar shapes for the corner. That was Campbell, it's off the line by Wilkins. Scooped right from the line, almost as if a piece of the ball might have crossed it, but of course all of the ball has to go over the line for the goal to count. And Wilkins in the right place in the nick of time for the team that he captains. When Jerry Francis was a player at the club in the 70s, they had a great reputation for clever work at set plays, free kicks and corners. So what can they come up with here? Sinton to take it. over Maddox. That's Bailey! Oh, what a start from Dennis Bailey! Almost half an hour gone. Hillier didn't hit it very well. Limpar can try better. It was a little surprising that Limpar wasn't involved in the free kick in the first place. David Hillier got the job. It broke off the wall to Limpar. Well, what can Arsenal manage at Winterburn's throw? Only onto the head of Maddox. And Wilkins, all tricks and flicks, but that's Limpar! It was dipping all the time. And Stejskal must have been very, very worried as the ball went past him. It was on its way down. But all that happened just too late for Anders Limpar. It was a cracking try. Everybody on the Queen's Park Rangers bench now out of the dugout to yell and cheer and hope that Simon Barker does the right thing for them here. They've still got to face a missile launched by Groves. Another fine header by Peacock. Rocastle lofts it back. Davis gets to it. Oh, Limpar and Merson, deflected goal! Goal for Arsenal. Right on the 90 minutes. It's been a long time coming for George Graham, but Paul Merson, who's been prolific against Queen's Park Rangers in the past, a rescuer here. Beardsley, here comes Ratcliffe. Plenty of movement about Everton. Mark Ward. Arsenal a little slow to come out to him. Oh, and they've paid the price. Ward! Headed forward by Harper. And Adams trying to take charge here, which he normally does with such efficiency, but he hasn't done this time. Oh, and Beardsley. It's Cottee. It must be too. It is. Well, who is Sheedy going to set up here? It's Mark Ward, deflected! Ward second. Dixon crosses. Smith climbs well. Now Groves. Merson can't make anything of it. Winterburn! Well, Arsenal get one back. Nigel Winterburn's first goal for more than 2 years, with 3 minutes left. Away by McGrath for Villa. Now Regis, who really looks revived here at Villa Park. Linking up again with Ron Atkinson. Daly. Oh, and Winterburn's brought him down. Arsenal claim it was outside the penalty area, but the penalty's been given. Well, it was a very close call, and technically I think Arsenal had a case. Steve Staunton got the winner at Sheffield Wednesday last Saturday and puts Villa in front against the champions here. Limpar. And two can't stop him. Smith! 1-1! Penrice. Still, Gary Penrice, he hasn't scored for Villa, he has now. Daly. Oh, and it's a faded David Seaman. It's a goal that writes off Arsenal, condemns them to a second defeat in 4 days. Down from Merson. Rocastle. Luton have such a poor record here at Highbury. And still looking for their first goal of the season. This their 4th game, but concentrating for the moment on defending As Dixon whips it in. Oh, and it's run on for Merson. Well taken. But Luton were culpable here in the room that they allowed Merson, who swung and shot and scored. Picked off well by Adams. On goes Winterburn, gets the ball back from Limpar. Winterburn's shot, encouraged by that goal at Everton. And this is Arsenal driving forward with all their renowned power. Well, one goal against a team that hasn't scored this season might be enough, but there's a chance for a second, and Alan Smith makes it two and increases the feeling of comfort here at Highbury on a night when victory for Arsenal is of paramount importance, and Smith may well have sewn it up. Neat work from Rocastle, taken on by Smith. Dixon's cross. In goes Merson. And Limpar tangling with Pembridge. Oh! Anders Limpar threw a punch then. And he really leaves the referee with little option. Limpar, who doesn't have the traditional calm of most Swedes, it must be said. He puts it down to his Hungarian background on his father's side, but there's no excuse for that. Anders Limpar is sent off to spoil Arsenal's night here. Even with 10 men, there's room for Winterburn. Luton backing off, and it's swerved. Chamberlain's lost it. Thomas going in. And in the end, it's scrambled away. But Nigel Winterburn has made an eye-catching start to his season. And he's looking for goals again. Luton lucky to survive. Smith going towards the near post, and it was Linnigan coming in behind him. Arsenal have won, and that was the real importance of this match, to get back on course, but it's been achieved at the expense of a suspension for Anders Limpar, sent off tonight.
After 4 games, that's the situation. Arsenal in 13th place. But it's early days, and the leading pack's just a win away. Plenty for George Graham to think about.
It's not been a secret. I've said all along that I think we definitely need another 2 and possibly 3 players. Our squad is not as strong as everybody thinks it is. And we've got a few injuries just now, i.e. David O'Leary, Steve Bold at the back, Kevin Campbell and Perry Groves up front. So probably, you know, I will still be sort of looking all the time. I'm not going to spend money on, you know, just because it's fashionable. I only bring players to the club that are going to be assets to the club and not a short-term thing. I always look upon the long-term thing as well. Because I didn't spend in the summer and I've got a lot of money, people thought, well, I should bet they're spending, you know. All the players that I have just now haven't suddenly become bad players in a matter of 4 games. I've got good players, I've got a good squad, which can be added to, which can be better. But I'm not going to panic. I've never panic bought since I've come to the club 5 years ago, and I'm not going to start panic buying now.
Now, your chance to win one of these great prizes. 10 stunning goals coming up. Just select your top 3 from the title campaign. Send your entries to this address by the closing date of October the 31st. That's Arsenal Video Club, Chrysalis Television, Chrysalis Building, Bramley Road, London W10 6SP. And remember, it's your club. We want to know what you want to see. Any suggestions? Get in touch at the same address.